The Xenoverse series is going to be reaching its 11-year anniversary, with Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 itself actually reaching 10 years in simply a few months' time. And over the 10 long years of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 content, we can actually look back at how they've done so many different updates, DLC releases, content packs, free updates, character skills, Festival of Universes, custom mentals, so much for the game, while we head to Future Saga Chapter 4 and even further beyond Xenoverse 2. Hello everyone, it's me again, Steve Dojo here, back to more Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and this time on Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, I wanted to talk about the game's final updates, because again, some people have actually just assumed that Future Saga Chapter 4 is going to be the last ever DLC, or maybe it'll be the last ever paid DLC, but I even don't think that's true. A good example is, I want to talk about free updates. Again, we'll get the free update for Future Saga Chapter 4, obviously. That free update will come with Festival of Universes, Festival of Universe updates weekly, and even then there's still Festival characters, Festival skills, all of these other different changes that we'll be getting in the free updates, not to mention the transformations and how it's going to do buffs and nerfs and patches, because again, it's going to most likely be the final paid DLC for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. So obviously they're going to be doing a lot for the free update. And then we also have the paid update, which is going to have the new characters and skills, which we don't entirely know yet, and I've made several videos on those before, so I won't go too deep into what's going to be in the paid DLC for Future Saga Chapter 4 today. What I do want to talk about, though, is potential stuff like collab updates. A great example is, again, the Dragon Ball Breakers collab update that they did for Xenoverse 2. That did not come with a paid DLC. They really were just like, hey, let's do a Dragon Ball the Breakers collab update. And I think the main reason why that collab update had so much focus on it, because, again, Breakers originally was going to just be Xenoverse 3. If we take the Dragon Ball game release schedule into account, and when they said they were done with the service of Xenoverse 2, which they, again, quickly rolled back because Xenoverse 2 was making too much money, Dragon Ball the Breakers was most likely going to be the original release date for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. And obviously, all that attention, even the new character model for Cell. Again, the second form Cell model in Breakers and Xenoverse 2 is, again, it's super high quality compared to the other models in the game. And then obviously all of the newer character models we get, again, if you compare stuff like Dragon Ball Super Broly, transforming DBS Broly at least, compared to stuff like Goku, any Goku, because all the Goku models are kind of the same, they're just way too high quality for the game. Again, Xenoverse 3 would have most likely had more of Breakers' art style, where it follows Shintani's art more than the Yamamura art style we have of Xenoverse 2. You can actually just see it in all of the Breaker models. Even second form Frieza, third form Frieza look better than final form Frieza and first form Frieza. Really weird, but that's how it happens. Second form Cell looks better than first form and perfect Cell somehow. And again, that's just how it happens. Evil Boo has a model that only appears for like a tiny bit in the middle of Majin Buu's animation and Breakers, but even that looks better than all of the other Majin Buu forms. Because again, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 was supposed to come out, you know, when Breakers came out. Again, hair physics, transformations for all custom characters. I want to remind you that no matter which Super Saiyan form you go into, your custom character's design reflects those transformations. That's, again, way too much quality for just a random spin-off game. Newer clothes, all of that was meant for the next game. But again, turned into Breakers instead because they could make more money on that. So they're delaying Xenoverse 3 for, again, what Age 1000 is supposed to be. I didn't want to spend so much time talking about this point, but I did want to point out that, again, the special announcement update for Breakers was pretty high quality, all things considered, considering the game was just a spin-off game. Something that they didn't do for Dragon Ball FighterZ, even though they added Androids 21 as a playable character to Xenoverse 2, but they didn't have a big FighterZ update because it wasn't supposed to be all that for Xenoverse. Another great example is, again, Sparking Zero didn't get any updates for Xenoverse 2, none. No extra characters, not even a non-playable character like second form Cell to, you know, Xenoverse 2. It just didn't get any updates. The only thing Sparking Zero got was that Festival of Universes at the time ended on the day of Sparking Zero's release. So that was it, but there was not a Sparking Zero update at all. It's just kind of weird. In all fairness, Sparking Zero doesn't actually have any new original characters in it like Dragon Ball FighterZ or like Dragon Ball Legends does. And at the same time as well, Sparking Zero isn't tied to the Xenoverse series at all like Breakers, so they didn't have to do any new original characters. Again, Xenoverse didn't add any playable characters with the Breakers update, but it did at least add a new playable NPC. So there's that, but for a special campaign update, very much nothing. I don't think this will be the same for, obviously, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 Age 1000, because, again, even if you don't think that game is Xenoverse 3, it is taking place in the future timeline still, which means that Xenoverse 2 can't be ongoing the same time as it, because that's just going to create complications, especially since they just take place in the same timeline anyways. It would just be a weird decision to make. It wouldn't make any sense. And because Xenoverse 2 is such a moneymaker, it would make literally no sense to make a game that is just, hey, we're going to replace Xenoverse 2 even though this game is a financial success. Bandai Namco is not going to do that. Everyone loves money. You, me, me, Bandai, they're gonna just do what makes sense, even if you don't think the game is Xenoverse free, despite the fact that that would also be what would make the most money. You have to accept that Bandai Namco is not gonna release a game that just takes place, weirdly enough, in the same timeline as the one that everyone already financially supports massively. So, just something to think about. Now I'm going to talk about updates and releases that aren't about Xenoverse 3, and I think these ones will most likely happen this year alongside Future Cybergirl Chapter 2. Again, Xenoverse 2 for the most part likes releasing 2 DLCs a year if they can manage it, and we're naturally obviously going to get something for Dragon Ball Super Beerus. I mean, I want to remind you that Age 1000 Xenoverse 3 doesn't come out till 2027, so Xenoverse 2 does kind of have to hold the fort for a very long time, and at least we'll be getting new content in Dragon Ball Super Beerus. Now, to my knowledge, and based only on a few leaked things I've heard about Dragon Ball Super Beerus, Dragon Ball Super Beerus will just be the Beerus arc and the Golden Frieza arc. It will not be the Universe 6 tournament, it will not be Goku Black, it will not be the Tournament of Power. I don't think they're reanimating all of Dragon Ball Super, obviously. It's just the parts that are already movies, so now we have 3 versions of the same arc, but I'm assuming that these ones will be well written and not just, you know, rushed for cash. Again, Battle of Gods, great movie, good movie. Resurrection F, kind of a rough movie, literally only exists because they want to make more money, whatever. And then the anime versions are, hey, let's make money again off of the things that already made money. So they're not exactly the, you know, cornerstones of writing, you know. And I think Dragon Ball Super Beerus is going to be a definitive version of those arcs, so that way the rest of Dragon Ball's canon makes sense and doesn't have any weird things in it, as well as obviously adds more moves to characters in the video games, which is the most important part I'm going to get into here. Characters will obviously get updated based on stuff that happens in the anime. There's no way they won't, because it just makes money to do so. So most likely, we're not going to see new, like, Dragon Ball Super Beerus versions of playable characters. We're not going to see Beerus, Dragon Ball Super Beerus as a new playable character. It'll most likely just be new skills that custom characters can get from a parallel quest or from buying in a TP medal shop, and then skills that they can also add to custom partner Beerus and custom partner Super Saiyan God Goku, because those will be the 2 main characters in that arc. And then if they do get around to Resurrection of F2, I don't know how they'll do it for Frieza, because Golden Frieza isn't his own separate custom partner character. Maybe they'll just make a new preset of Golden Frieza that has the new moves, but Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta will have an updated moveset. Hell, maybe we'll even see Goku use Kaioken against Golden Frieza in the new version. Who knows, right? It's anything to just make more money. They need more hype and aura moments that can, like, sell merch. A good example is Dragon Ball Daima. They literally just shove Super Saiyan 4 in at the very end, and everyone loves it, and it's really, really cool, and it makes a bunch of money everywhere. So I think that they'll probably still change stuff up enough to make new content releases for the games, because the games need more content so they can make more money. That just makes sense. I think we can all agree that just makes sense. That's not like a cope. That just makes sense. And the final 2 things I wanted to talk about was, again, obviously the updates that will lead into the next game, when they most likely go, hey, the game is called Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. They'll probably do a few minor updates for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, just to try and, you know, because people are going to be like, oh, the next game's coming out. Let me try this one. And then when I try this one, I'll be like, oh, that was great. Now I'll buy the next one as well when it comes out. Again, it happens for a lot of people. They announce another game, like, I don't know, Resident Evil 9. A bunch of people buy Resident Evil 8, play it, enjoy it, and then they'll buy Resident Evil 9 anyways. People aren't against spending more money if they like the thing that they see. So the same thing's going to happen with Xenoverse 2. Bandai will just do the usual and, you know, do updates for Xenoverse 2 that make the game better or add extra slight bits of content before the 3rd game comes out. And then obviously the final thing, which would be the most likely the end of service to Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which would happen because obviously Xenoverse 3 would completely take over. Now, I do want to address this first because I mentioned it at the beginning of the video. The likelihood of Xenoverse 2 ending its service is still kind of unknown to me, and I'm being completely serious with this because there is no reason for Xenoverse 1 to still exist, but it still has servers. I mean, they're barely playable, but it still has servers for some reason. Xenoverse 1's campaign is in Xenoverse 2 as a DLC that is probably just cheaper than buying Xenoverse 1 right now, and I'm not kidding. Xenoverse 2's parallel quests also have Xenoverse 1's parallel quests in them, so it's not like you're doing that for the parallel quest experience. The characters play better, they have more unique moves and gimmicks, they have the multi-stage transformations rather than it just being a one singular transformation. A good example is Super Saiyan has multiple awoken skills rather than just a singular one. And even then, in Xenoverse 1, Super Saiyan was an ultimate attack. There wasn't awoken skills in Xenoverse 1. So again, Xenoverse 1 doesn't have a reason to exist. It offers nothing, but it's still in service. So maybe Xenoverse 2 won't end of service, but I imagine that most likely they would want to try and move all of the people who are playing 1 and 2 to free, since 1 and 2 wouldn't be able to make any more money. But again, I don't know, because the still haven't turned off Xenoverse 1. That's still a complete enigma to me, and I have no idea what they're going to do about that when we actually get to Xenoverse 3. I would like them to end the service of the other two games so they can fully focus on this one. Again, because Xenoverse 1 and 2 servers are still fighting for like money, time, and space in Abandoned Namco HQ, and if you just turn off Xenoverse 1 servers, I'm very sure Xenoverse 2's connection online is going to be way better. Like, just alone, if you turn off Xenoverse 1, Xenoverse 2's connection online would probably be way better. So I would really, really like that to happen. But there's probably people who still buy Xenoverse 1 a lot, hence why they haven't turned off the service. Who knows, right? Who knows? But I do think that is a solid place to end the video, guys. Again, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, then obviously, again, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, as it greatly supports the channel, and leave a comment of what you think down below, because I'm very curious about this topic. This topic is actually one I think about a lot, especially when it comes to why Xenoverse 1 servers are still online. It makes me think that they have more stuff for the Xenoverse series in hand, which is another reason why the Xenoverse 3 idea, it just can't be, it can't be a mistake. They called the game Xenoverse 3, and they had to take down the post calling it Xenoverse 3. So I do think the Xenoverse series has a lot of stuff in store for it, and that's a solid place to end the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, then obviously, again, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, it greatly supports the channel, and leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next. I do love you all. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time, gang. Take care, and peace, peace, peace. Bye, bye.